Welcome back for episode 6 of the Screen Therapy Podcast. I'm Charlie Rogers. I go by SeeJayAre online. And as always, I'm joined by Nick Steinberg.
Hey, good to be here with you today.
I'm glad you were able to make it in.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough drive. Came pretty close to texting you to be like, maybe we should do this tomorrow. Yeah, it's pretty...
Minus 22 out there right now.
Yeah, lots of snow, but, I'm here because I'm really excited for this episode.
I could tell. I was waiting. It was like 2 o'clock, and I was like, is Nick going to text me and say, hey, can we do this tomorrow? And when I didn't get that text, I could tell Nick was pretty excited for this one. So
yeah.
In this episode, we are going to be discussing our 2019 gaming predictions.
Yes.
We're going to stick with gaming. You know, we do talk about movies and television on this podcast, but we're going to stick to gaming predictions.
I also feel a lot more confident doing gaming predictions than any kind of like movie or television
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah.
You know, gaming's first on this podcast.
Sure.
We like to touch on whatever we feel like talking about. So
yeah.
I guess with that said, before we get into our predictions, we should kind of go through what we've been playing and watching over the past 2 weeks since the last episode.
Yeah. Just before we get to that, I just
Okay.
want to say about the predictions,
Yes.
which are coming later in the episode. I think what we'll do is, next year, assuming we're still doing the podcast,
That's a good idea.
kind of, take a look back at what we predicted, see if anything came true. I'm guessing we're going to be off base on a lot of stuff, but, it'll be fun to see, how the year turned out versus what we said might happen.
If we keep getting these download numbers and we keep growing on the path we're at, I'm sure we'll be back next year. Once again, thank you to you guys.
For the money.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't make money doing this. But it's nice to see we've had a nice progression through each episode. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed and left a good review on iTunes. Like I said, every episode has been going up, so we're hoping to keep that going.
Great positive comments on the last YouTube link.
Yeah,
too.
the YouTube ones have been awesome.
Yeah, such a nice community on that.
Yeah, we're getting a nice kind of viewership on the YouTube videos. But yeah, still plenty of people who are listening. So that doesn't even factor in, right? So I'm keeping track of the stats on the audio version of the podcast.
Right.
But then we're also getting 2,500 views or so on the video version of this, so people can kind of tune in and see our pretty faces, or watch us live on IGTV right up there right now. We are on Instagram live streaming this right now as well. So, Nick, what have you watched over the last couple weeks?
Okay, so I've watched mostly TV. I did catch one movie, and it's a bit of an older one. So it's Atomic Blonde.
Okay.
Which came out in 2017. This is with Charlize Theron and James McAvoy.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know he was in it.
Yeah. So
that makes it more of a watch for me.
Yeah. So I feel like before this movie came out, people thought this is going to be kind of like the female like John Wick because it's the same director too who did the original John Wick.
Oh, okay.
But it's not that.
Yeah. No.
No.
It didn't look great to me, so I just kind of skipped over it.
It's very convoluted. There's all because it's kind of like a Cold War era spy drama. So it has a lot of kind of twists and turns. You got like double, triple crosses. And, by the end of it,
you're starting to sell me on this movie. I think.
Yeah. Okay. It's got some cool action scenes for sure. It was just my main problem with it is that they do this framing device where she is kind of after her mission, she goes in and starts, informing her handlers about what happened. And so she keeps flashing back.
Okay.
And the problem is it kind of robs it of any kind of, urgency or anything like that. Because you're like, well, I know she makes it through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's a little, I don't know, feel kind of disconnected. And like, I don't know, James McAvoy's kind of wasted in it. Charlize Theron does a good job, but overall it just didn't impact me that much. I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't go see this in theaters. I don't know.
Yeah, there was another movie that kind of did that recently. That kind of it was Bird Box.
Oh yeah.
So Bird Box starts with it. Basically, it's a flashback the entire time. So there's all these tense situations, but you know the outcome and you know who doesn't survive to that point right off the bat. So I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and that sounds like a similar thing with Atomic Blonde, where a lot of the suspense is taken away if you know the outcome, right? So
it's always I think risky when movies are kind of set up that way, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it worked for a movie from last year. Did you ever see Annihilation? with Natalie Portman.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember much of it. The sci-fi.
But she's in there kind of after the mission saying what happened. But
That's
I felt
right.
like it worked. I don't know. For me, I think other people weren't as
that
high
one
on
worked
that,
a little bit more for me too. That was a great film. I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Annihilation.
A lot. Anyway, that's all the movies I've been watching. I have more to talk about with TV, but what movies have you caught lately?
I didn't see anything movie-wise. The only thing movie-related that I watched, I checked out the Ghostbusters teaser trailer. Did you get a chance to see that?
No, I didn't. No.
It was a real brief teaser, basically saying, "Oh yeah, this is actually coming." So as far as I know, it's the original cast again. So it's like almost like a reboot of the original series.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the female Ghostbusters.
From the 2016 one. Okay, yeah.
So that was interesting. Not a whole lot, not a whole lot of meat there. And then the Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh yeah, the trailer dropped. That's right.
Latest trailer.
What do you think of that?
It was interesting. It was like Spider-Man it was like Spider-Man European Vacation.
Yeah, National Lampoon's Spidey Euro Trip or something.
Yeah, Euro Trip, right?
Yeah.
So it was cool. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio.
I love this casting.
Yeah.
First of all.
It was kind of cool seeing him in there, and I remember hearing something about that months ago, but then sort of at the end he reveals himself. At the end of the trailer, I was like, "Oh yeah, totally forgot about that."
Yeah. What do you kind of make of like what he's going to be doing in the film? Because he's kind of set up as like he's acting as like a hero.
Yeah.
You know?
Is he Mysterio? Is it Mysterio?
It's Mysterio.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, I know nothing
you kind
about
of
the
see him with the
character.
fishbowl helmet, which people are like so happy about.
Yeah,
right?
I did see that.
But a friend of mine had a good theory. It's that like you see him like fighting like kind of like the like water monster, which I'm pretty sure is Hydro Man, who's like another Spidey villain, but that it's all put on by Mysterio to kind of like, build up his narrative as like, I'm a hero, but actually he's like kind of a bad dude. So
interesting.
I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Homecoming, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting. So now people were saying that, I guess it kind of spoiled the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, but you knew Spider-Man was coming back. I mean,
you're right.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
It's okay, and it comes out after Endgame, Avengers Endgame.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like they're gonna. By that point, we'll know how that's all resolved, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have as much of a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think that Spider-Man's coming back.
Yeah.
Not all the heroes are going to, I bet, but
yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really catch much on the movie side, and then on the TV side, the only thing I really watched, I finally took advantage of my Amazon Prime subscription, which is the biggest ripoff ever, because I have Amazon Prime, and I still can't get video games on day one. Half the time it's like 3 days later. Drives me crazy. The distribution center's in Mississauga, which is 40 minutes from here. So finally I found a use for my Prime subscription, and I was watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Have you ever heard of this?
That's a tongue twister. I have heard of it. Okay. Yeah, I'm what is it about? Sorry.
So I heard about it just kind of in passing, and I heard that apparently the lead actress won an Emmy at the last Emmy Awards for her role. Basically, it's about a girl. I would say I think it's the 40s.
Okay.
New York City. So basically, this girl's married to this guy, and her husband actually has this dream of being a comedian. He's just not quite that funny.
Okay.
And he's stealing like other people's material and just performing it as his own. She's like super supportive. She's like this amazing wife that does all the cooking and cleaning. She's super supportive of him.
Right.
And she also happens to be, you can tell she's quick-witted and can think on her feet and is quite funny herself. So you can kind of see where it's going.
Okay, yeah.
Right away. So basically the girl falls into stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff, like interesting stuff that it touches on, like censorship in the, I guess, 40s. I think it's the 40s, maybe 50s.
Right. Man, you don't even think of like stand-up comedy happening.
Exactly.
In the 40s.
So apparently, there's a real life character in it, Lenny Bruce, and apparently Lenny Bruce was like a real pioneer of like pushing the envelope of free speech in like a comedic setting. There's like cops are constantly coming in to bust them for saying and doing and swearing and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
what a time! Yeah.
But I mean, this is one of those shows that. The woman who plays the lead character is so fantastic that it just brings the show up to that next level. Like, I don't know if it would be as great a show if it was just, if it just had some random actress. So yeah, it's a really good show and I would recommend it. It's not for everyone.
Okay.
But I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan, so I kind of like that angle of the show. So
I've heard good things about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in season 2. So
okay.
Yeah.
So did you watch all of the first season? Did you say? Or
no, I think
no?
I'm about
Okay.
6 episodes
Okay.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of a show that I could watch with my wife. I thought she'd enjoy it, but
yeah,
20 minutes later she was
There's,
passed out and I was watching it by myself. So
That's fair. There's some decent stuff on Prime right now. I
Yeah,
really want to watch Preacher because they have it
okay,
all on there.
The Man in the High Castle is another one. I watched 1 or 2 episodes of that like 2 years ago and just couldn't quite get into it.
Same, yeah. I started it last year and didn't. Yeah.
There's that Jack Ryan. What is it? Jack Ryan show with
with
the guy from The
John
Office.
Krasinski.
John
Yeah,
Krasinski.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's a few things on there. There's some
Sure.
decent movies.
Well, and you already have Prime, so it's like.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I don't order a lot on Amazon, so I'm kind of. I had a free month of Prime last year and took advantage of the TV thing, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's really it for me in terms of movies and TV. I haven't had a whole lot of time this week. I've actually been playing more games than watching movies.
Right.
But...
Okay, so I'll touch on. There's 2 TV shows that I actually watched the whole like first seasons for over the past 2 weeks. They're pretty short seasons, so that's how I got through that. First, there's Barry. Have you heard of this show on HBO?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the main actor's name. I think I have it wrong anyways.
Okay. Yeah, it's Bill Hader,
Okay,
who was on Saturday Night Live and.
Totally not what I was thinking about.
Okay. So I went into this thinking that it was going to be like more of a comedy. So it's Bill Hader plays the lead character Barry, who is a former Marine who comes back from war, the Afghan war, doesn't know kind of what to do and starts falls into contract killing. And so, and then, so it starts out with that, and right from the get-go, that's his job and whatever. And then he has a mission out in LA and starts like falling in with this like acting crowd. And so then he figures out, no, I want to be an actor. I don't want to kill people anymore.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so it goes to some dark places.
So is it like a dark comedy?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's like the most blackest humor kind of thing. So yeah, you'd probably love it. It's great. Like I think it does a really good job of like tackling not only like the struggles of veterans coming back from war and kind of reacclimating to society, but also kind of just the struggles of actors or like wannabe actors in Hollywood, because there's a whole supporting cast too. And
Henry Winkler's in it. It looks like.
Oh yeah, Henry Winkler. Yeah, he's like the acting coach, and man, he's great.
Oh, that's cool.
And Stephen Root, he played like one of his most famous roles is Milton in Office Space.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he's one of those character actors that shows up in everything. He's always great.
He's got great range.
Yes. So he's kind of like Barry's kind of like handler or like the guy with them, and like
this sounds great.
Yeah,
what season is it in?
So it's going into season 2 this year. So I watched all of season 1. It's easy to complete. Like it's only 8 episodes. Yeah. They're only like half an hour, and like you have Crave, so you can watch it.
Yeah, that's my list
do
right
it.
now.
It's so good. And the second one was Sex Education on Netflix.
Yes, I've seen that.
Okay, so this is with Gillian Anderson from X-Files fame.
Okay.
And she plays a sex therapist, and who's like she's a single mom raising a son who's played by Asa Butterfield, and he was in do you remember the movie Hugo?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
The kid from
He was the
Hugo?
kid from that. So yeah, he's a little older now, but he's like in high school and whatever. And it he's like a really like sexually repressed kid, but which is ironic given like what his mother does.
Yeah.
But he knows a ton about like sex education. So like another student figures out that he kind of knows what he's talking about, and she's like, wow, this could be like a business that we run, like kids coming to us for it's like sex therapy basically, right? And it's like it's a really raunchy show, like surprisingly, like I didn't know like it was gonna be like that much, like goes into all sorts of different sexual terms that I'm not gonna like mention on the show and whatever. There's nudity, whatever. But it really like feels like authentic. It's got a lot of heart, and It's really funny too.
Oh my god, there's so much to
yeah,
watch.
Both of those shows I just highly recommend.
I'm always looking for things to watch, like with my wife when we put the kids to bed. So and I think she actually brought this show up at one point.
Yeah, so it surprised me because it's more of a like teen, like high school kind of drama.
Okay.
I thought it would focus a little more on like Gillian Anderson's character, but she's more of like a supporting role, and her son is like the main character.
Interesting.
Yeah. But really good.
Oh man, I got so much to watch.
Yeah.
Such little time.
Anyway, I think that kind of covers it for what we've been watching.
Yeah.
What about playing? Like, what kind of video games you've been playing?
Yeah, so I'm still playing through Celeste. Really enjoying my time with Celeste. So I actually, I got it for free and I posted it on Instagram. Hey, you guys should check out this game. Then I was like, I really got to support these guys. So
I saw that post, yeah.
So I ended up buying it on the Nintendo Switch. And then I replayed it. So I think I was 5 hours in on the Xbox One.
Okay.
So I replayed it and got to that point in like 2.5 hours because I guess I was better at it going in, and I kind of knew what to do. So I'm playing through that on the Nintendo Switch in portable mode with my custom JoyCons. It's been working well. I actually use the thumbstick for it. I don't actually use the D-pad.
Oh, right.
Do you remember how you played?
Oh, yeah, you have the custom.
So
I played with the
joystick, stick, right? Yeah, because you have to aim your double jump, and I find it easier with the thumbstick. So I don't know how other people are playing that, if they're playing it with a D-pad.
Right.
But I find it easier to aim, because you're jumping, then you got to aim where you want to jump next, and that's more precise with the thumbstick, in my opinion. So that's why I've been playing it.
Yeah, I found it pretty good controls on the Switch.
So I went a little hardcore, and I also ordered the physical version from Limited Run Games.
Okay.
The pre-order's up right now. So I have a physical version of that coming on the Nintendo Switch. Not the cheapest thing. You got to order it from the States. I think it's $35 US, which is a great price if you're in the US. With the exchange and then shipping, it ends up being like $65 Canadian. Sure. So it's kind of a kick in the nuts, but a game that I wanted to support, and I'd love to own a physical version of it. So, and I'm actually going to look out for the. I know they have the soundtrack on vinyl. I gotta track that down. It's a great soundtrack. What about you?
So I played the Resident Evil 2 remake, the kind of like one shot demo. That
I heard about
released.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like basically you have half an hour to just you can get as far as you can, and I think once you hit that half hour mark, like you can't play it again.
Okay.
I haven't gone back and tried, but anyway, so I didn't really know what to expect with this game. Like Resident Evil 2 has always been like the old Resident Evil that I've kind of wanted to play, but I've just never really have. It's kind of hard to go back to.
Does it have tank controls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, this new version doesn't though.
It doesn't. Okay.
No. So I didn't know like how much of a remake this was going to be. Like if it was going to be like remember they did on the GameCube or the first Resident Evil was redone with newer graphics and was really good, but it was still kind of the same thing, same perspective.
Yeah.
This is like a complete remake. Like it feels like it's the same kind of behind the shoulder, third person Resident Evil 4 style, but it actually controls more closer to maybe like Dead Space. Because you can move around while you shoot, like while you're aiming and stuff now.
But same locations. It looks the same, but just way better, kind of thing, or is it?
It's totally revamped.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's hard for me without having really played much of the original game to know exactly how much is like new asset. But it looks like.
I don't remember much from 2.
Yeah. So it's with. Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield are the two main characters. He plays Leon in the demo, and it's all about, you're in Raccoon City, you're in the, like, police department, and it's just, kind of exploring through that, and it's on lockdown from the zombie attack, and so it's a lot of, like, dark corridors, and you got, like, a flash. Great, like, use of lighting and everything, it's like, I'm just going through, and I'm on edge the whole time. And
did you play on Xbox One?
PS4.
PS4. Is it? It's not an exclusive though.
No. No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's coming to Xbox. So.
The demo's available now.
Right. Yeah. So this comes out I think on January 25th, and I think I'm gonna get it like day one. I'm really looking forward to going through this.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna get next. I've kind of been convinced on Kingdom Hearts. I think that's the next game that I'm going to put a bunch of time into. I'm not normally a Kingdom Hearts guy, but
But you feel like maybe there's enough of a draw with this new one with like the different.
Like all the cool,
there's like the Toy Story
the
coming
Pixar
in.
stuff, and so I'm gonna check that out. I had it pre-ordered, so I think I got it for like $50 or so. So I'm gonna give that a shot.
Yeah.
So I posted a pro tip on, I mean, most people probably know this already, on Instagram, but I went to my local library, the library that's right by your house and right by
the
where
downtown
I work.
one. Yeah, it's great.
So the KPL. And you can rent video games there. So you get basically free week rentals of video games. I just went in one day on the computer and reserved a game that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I get a little notification that it's waiting for you there. You can return it back to any KPL location, which is nice.
Nice.
So I went in and I rented Kirby Star Allies.
Right. The Switch one from last year.
Kirby Star Allies on the Nintendo Switch. And then I rented or checked out Soul Calibur 6.
Okay.
Which is a game that like I wasn't really going to buy myself, but it's kind of nice to play a little bit and see what it's like.
It's cool. They have like newer games and stuff there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Kirby Star Allies I've been playing through with the boys. It is totally frantic. Half the time I don't know what's going on, who's who. But it's a lot of fun. Super colorful, great graphics, and great game to play through with the whole family. Now, we were talking about, they did a bunch of updates to it, and they added some new mode to it that I haven't quite played yet.
I think it's like a whole new campaign.
That you were saying, I think you have to unlock by playing.
You have to finish Yeah,
and I think the initial campaign's not too long, so we're probably getting close to beating it. It's
a pretty easy game, too. Like, I'm sure you can probably, carry your son through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it has like that, if one of them falls behind, it just zaps you up to the person in front
it's
of
great
you,
for, that.
Yeah, like I'm not a big fan of the Kirby games. I remember loving Kirby, was it Canvas Curse? And then remember the one on the DS?
One that you draw?
Yeah.
I always looked for that one, but it was so hard to find. Yeah.
It's over there somewhere, but that was kind of cool.
I'll steal that after the show.
And Kirby Planet Robobot, that was another one that we enjoyed. That's the more recent one on 3DS, but so we've been playing through that, and I just briefly played some Soul Calibur 6, played as Geralt.
Oh yeah, from The Witcher. Oh yeah, he's kind of the big exclusive character.
So it'd be interesting. Like it would have been kind of cool if they did the same thing that they did with like number 2, with like the mascots from each console.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like who would it even be for.
Do you remember that? Okay, I remember when Soul Calibur 2 came out. I only had a PlayStation 2 at the time, so the PlayStation 2's exclusive character sucked.
Yeah,
it was
shafted.
Who was it? Hihachi or whatever, Hihachi from Tekken.
Yeah.
And you look at the Nintendo version, they get Link. I was just like, Link. Are you kidding me? Like,
and then Xbox had
Spawn.
Was it Spawn?
It was Spawn, yeah.
Okay, there was Yoda.
Oh, that was number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Spawn. That's right. Yeah, that was number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the Soul Calibur series over the years. Starting on the Dreamcast, I absolutely love that game. And I actually like the cheesy story mode that you play through.
Yeah.
I have fun.
Do they still have the same narrator?
It sounds similar. I played through a little bit of it. I was pleasantly surprised that when I jumped into that little story campaign that it kind of retained some of the same feeling as the original Dreamcast one.
Yeah.
Kind of going through and just different. It'll give you a bit of story, then it'll be like, okay, these two characters are fighting now, kind of thing. So, not as good as like a story of like Injustice or Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Just kind of a cool feature.
Nice.
Yeah, that's other than that, just some retro stuff. I've been playing quite a bit of TurboGrafx, some Bomberman with the 4-player Turbo Tap. I replaced the rubber in the controllers. It kind of like deteriorates over time. It can get kind of mushy and just like you'll hit a button and it won't input every time. So I ordered these rubber conductive pads for NES controllers, and they actually fit into the TurboGrafx controllers.
Nice.
So replaced all those and been playing through some Turbo games with the boys. So having a lot of fun with that. Anything else that you've been playing?
Just briefly, I tried out Slime Rancher. Have you heard of this game?
I've heard of it.
Okay, I think
I'm
it was
wondering
a free
why you
Xbox.
tried it out.
Okay, what? No, I saw an article on Waypoint this week that was talking about how the development team, I guess, really emphasized having like 40-hour work weeks and stuff like that, and they really, didn't want their team to be, grinding it out and whatever, and they tried to have like a good work-life balance, and they're like, hey, look, we still put out this game and whatever, and we didn't have to like, you know, destroy ourselves making it. So I was like, that's cool. I kind of want to check that out. And you know, like Devin, who we used to work with, he, I guess, like loves this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
because it's been free for a few.
Yeah.
A few years ago, it was one of the free games for Xbox Live, was it?
I think it was like last year. I got it at some point. So I had it on my hard drive for a long time, and I booted it up, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of like a first-person Stardew Valley-esque game where you're collecting these like little slimes, right? And you have like a farm, and you're putting them in like, you know, pens and whatever, and you feed them, and they like poop out these like crystals that you can trade into the store for money, and then, you know, it's kind of like a perpetuating system. You keep getting bigger, but
harvest poop.
It's really cool. Yeah, harvest poop slime. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. It's, I don't know, it's just a fun little casual
check
game.
That one out with the boys.
Yeah. Do it out.
We've been playing. Have you ever heard of Hello Neighbor?
Yes.
It's a game that they like watch people playing it on YouTube. I still can't understand why exactly I want to break into the neighbor's house, and once I'm in there, I'm like, what are we doing here again? But they seem to love it. Yeah. They've had a ton of fun playing that.
Nice.
But, yeah, any gaming news? I know a few interesting things have popped up.
Actually, man, the last week there's been some like pretty big stories.
Yeah.
Like, pretty like industry almost changing stories, at least in the one case.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Bungie is, you know, broken with Activision. So that was kind of... I don't know. I was pretty surprised by that.
Well, I don't see, like, how exactly does that work? Because I always assumed, I guess, that Activision had bought Bungie, but was it more of like a partnership?
They had, I think, like kind of like a 10-year contract or whatever. Okay. So this would be, I think, maybe their 9th year that they're going into. So, you know, they made it pretty far. But I guess, you know, there was an article on Kotaku, and they said that, like, apparently some of the Bungie employees were like pretty happy when it happened. There was like, you know, champagne popping when they announced the news. So, you know, you get the sense that it was a bit of a tumultuous relationship with Activision. I know like Activision is really like, you know, they had publicly said they were disappointed with like the sales of, you know, Forsaken, which was the last big expansion released in the fall. And, you know, it's kind of like a slap in the face to Bungie because by all accounts, players are really happy with how Destiny 2 is right now.
Yeah.
So now Bungie will kind of be doing everything with Destiny. Like, so they own it completely. They're going to be publishing it and whatever. But, you know, I wonder what this kind of means for the future of Destiny. Because, I mean, so they don't have, you know, Activision's resources anymore. And they also don't have, you know, the help of some of the support studios that were, you know, assisting them. Like, I think there was was it Vicarious Visions maybe did the
Tony
PC
Hawk
port?
People?
Yeah, I think they're still around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not be the right developer, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've fallen off of Destiny. Like, I haven't played for probably like a year, so I haven't really been keeping up with what's going on.
Destiny 2 seems like it didn't really exactly catch on.
Yeah,
like, I think that
still has that dedicated.
Yeah, but it didn't really. Like, I thought like Destiny 2 is kind of going to kind of build on the first one and kind of attract new players, but it seems like it just kind of attracted the same base, and that's kind of like it didn't really catch on like I thought it might.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. I think you're gonna see them go the route of like just kind of updating this game instead of seeing so many different releases. You know, like I think it would be a long time until we saw like a Destiny 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they released a statement this week that said something that has kind of indicated to people that they might be bringing back stuff from kind of Destiny 1 to make it more of this, you know, world. Feel like a bigger world in the sense that it's like you're not losing all that content, because that's kind of what happened when Destiny 2 came out. It basically erased everything from Destiny 1. It's like all that stuff didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe they'll do a better job of, you know, integrating all that older content, maybe updating it. I don't know. I think it's kind of an exciting time to, you know, for Bungie, see what they do without, you know, Activision, you know, constantly being at their back.
Do they have any other IP that they...
I don't think that they own, no.
No. Just I mean, they're the Halo people, but that's owned
by
Microsoft now. Right?
Yeah.
So one news story that I want to touch on.
Sure.
Data miners have found code in the Nintendo Switch in the online service for Super Nintendo games. So the rumor is that sometime in 2019 we'll be getting Super Nintendo games added to the Nintendo Switch Online.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because then I would actually have a reason to get it.
Yeah, it makes logical sense to me.
Yeah, totally.
I would love it if they eventually added N64 and GameCube.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if I like... it's cheap, right? So I can't really complain too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would rather just buy the games that I wanted and have those games. Like when they roll out these Super Nintendo games, or if they eventually get to GameCube, I don't want to have to worry about the GameCube game's there one day and it's gone. You know what I mean? If they kept all the games there, but they keep cycling them through and taking some away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm into that.
But I feel like this is just the way it's going, right? Is the subscription service.
Yeah. I guess I just find it annoying. Like, say, I have the list of games here. The first one is Super Soccer. I don't know, I'm never going to play Super Soccer on there. But say, I want to hop in and go, oh, no, I forgot Super Soccer's all of a sudden gone. And, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But some pretty good games on this list. Super Mario Kart, A Link to the Past, Demon's Crest, which is a great game, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Kirby's Dream Course. I won't go through them all here. Star Fox, Contra 3.
Yeah,
Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Super Metroid.
Expected players, I would think. Yeah.
Super Punch Out. Yeah, there's some good stuff on here for sure.
It'd be great. I hope it's true.
What are we paying? $20 for a year's subscription?
Yeah. So if you added Super Nintendo games there,
that's really
steal,
good value.
Yeah.
I just hope they get to... I really want to play GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, same.
And I kind of wish that to me, that should have been taken care of long ago.
Still waiting for that, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection on Switch. I think that would be great.
We mentioned that in our previous podcast, and I said that, to me, that was the biggest no-brainer at the Nintendo Switch launch, was to have a Super Mario Galaxy HD 1 and 2 on launch day as their Mario game. Such a great game that has kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
Both of them.
But also, because they just did Super Mario Brothers U, right? Yep. I think they should bring back the other Mario game that was on Wii U, 3D World.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how they would do that, because from what I remember, that there was some 3D components. Oh, no, wait.
No, that was...
I'm thinking of the 3DS
separate ones, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, you're right. That was a great game.
Yeah, I never played it because I didn't have the Wii U.
Oh yeah, that one's
I've always wanted to play it because of the co-op and.
I forget how they did that. Was it 3D World and 3D Land or something?
3D Land was the DS one, and then 3D World was the sequel.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah.
With
Cat Mario.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get it on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, he's always close by. Okay, before we get into the predictions, I just wanted to quickly talk about the Star Wars news.
Yes.
Yeah, EA just canceled another Star Wars game.
Yeah.
So this was the Star Wars game that was originally announced back when, I think it was October 2017, when EA closed Visceral Games.
Yeah.
RIP. And it was supposed to be a kind of open world game that apparently you would have played a bounty hunter and you'd travel to different planets and join up with factions. That sounds really cool.
Did this start as that Star Wars 13 whatever something?
No, that was canned back
Another
when
one.
I think LucasArts was.
Okay, so I thought that's what this was passed on to the next company.
No,
and then they canceled it.
They started a new thing. I think Visceral was working on a kind of more linear story-driven game overseen by Amy Hennig, who did the original Uncharted games. So that that was canned, and then this game has been canned now. I guess the one good thing is that no one lost their jobs at EA Vancouver, and they're going to be working on a different game now. I guess they want something that maybe can release a little quicker. So this is their new game that they're going to be working on. It's going to be smaller, coming out in late 2020.
Yeah.
And so we also have Respawn, who did the Titanfall games, which are awesome. They have a Star Wars game coming out later this year, apparently. It's Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
But, overall, I mean, EA's had the Star Wars license for almost 6 years now, and they've gotten 2 games out.
Mm-hmm.
both Battlefronts. Like, I mean,
yeah. Now, what do you think is the reasoning behind this? Do you think that the issues that happened with Battlefront 2 affected this, and is it something that maybe the Star Wars side of things, Disney pulled out of?
I don't know. Like, I have to imagine it's like, I feel like it's a mix of EA's like incompetence and greed for, oh, how do we monetize this, whatever. But also the fact that, like, I feel like, if you're making a Star Wars game, it's like you're gonna have to go through so many different like checks and balances with constantly sending stuff back to Disney and like Lucasfilm and whatever, and being like, is this okay? Especially if it's like dealing with like stuff that might be we whatever, right?
We talked about this process with the Spider-Man games, and I was saying that I could imagine that it's pretty tough to as a game company to have to constantly go back and say, hey, can we do this? Is this okay? Well, you can do this, but you have to do this, kind of thing.
So I feel like like, I mean, people are always down on EA, but like even more so now, and it's like they really have to prove something with their next Star Wars game. So it's been, disappointing. Like, I thought, we'd have more and better Star Wars games at this point, but it's not.
EA could really use some goodwill right now. Ubisoft went through some of this stuff, not in such a big extent, but they've really kind of risen from that and like proven, say with the stuff that they're doing with Rainbow Six, right? So the game originally released and it did okay, but they kind of just kept with it and built this awesome community. And then I think they just like re-released the thing with all these new modes and features. And Ubisoft's kind of the model for what EA should follow, I think, right now.
It does feel like that. I feel like EA probably wants to be in that position, and like Activision too. I don't know. We'll see.
But
where things go.
It'd be interesting. Like, it's too bad because it seems like a perfect project. I was out at EA Motive in Montreal, and I like the stuff that they did with the Star Wars because they handled the single player campaign, the story mode on Battlefront 2. And I was like, man, they could do, if they dedicated single player game, they'd be amazing. So it's too bad we're not going to get that. Okay, let's get into our 2019 predictions.
I don't know. There's supposed to be some kind of music. I don't know.
All right, do you want to start off? I've got a couple here.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I'll just go in. I mean, I didn't put these in any kind of particular order or anything like that. Okay. First prediction. I think that Activision's going to spin off, Call of Duty's Blackout mode into like a separate free-to-play thing.
Yeah.
Or release it, as like a standalone, cheaper thing. Just something more standalone. Like, I feel like, that game, or at least that mode, hasn't performed as well as maybe they thought, like against, Fortnite and things like that. And maybe they're seeing, okay, like, if they go the free-to-play model and do something like the seasons and everything, and I think, it would catch on more.
So the first prediction on my list is the death of Battle Royale games.
Really?
So it kind of ties in. Okay. It kind of ties into this. So my issue with that, with them doing that, is I think that they still want to sell a full price product.
Oh no, I agree.
But I'm not sure they can without that mode anymore. So I think that they might be more likely to keep and just release, this is the next version, and it all has, zombies in the traditional multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably stick with that formula. I think it makes way more sense to do what you said and just have this mainline Battle Royale mode. Maybe it's $20 like PUBG, or maybe it's just free to play and have, just a huge market share there. But we discussed this in the last podcast. The Blackout mode is by far the best Battle Royale game, in my opinion, by a mile.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, I think it's very debatable, but it is definitely my favorite.
It's definitely better than PUBG. I mean, it's kind of a different game than Fortnite.
You'll have, people will argue with you about that.
I don't
back
know.
on PC, it's a little more, I can understand people picking PUBG over it just because it has more of that methodical, a little more... Like, it's a little more hardcore.
I don't know how many people would, because the PC version of Blackout is apparently pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like, I think it is probably the best just in terms of, like, overall. But, yeah, you'll find people that will, side
either way,
Fortnite or PUBG.
Surprising that Blackout didn't quite take off like I thought it was going to take over. And that, to me, is a sign that Battle Royale games hit their peak and are plateauing, if not on the downswing.
So are you kind of thinking like we'll see a decline for Fortnite this year?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. In 2019, I don't know if I actually wrote down that, but I'm happy to see it. I'm getting so sick and tired of like, you know, even just my nephews, they don't play anything.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, guys, you're missing out on so many other games.
All they care about is Fortnite. I'm ready for the death of Fortnite. Like, let's move on to something new.
Old man yells at Cloud. You're not Fortnite.
Go away, Grandpa.
Yeah.
You know, I still love the Battle Royale formula is fantastic.
Sure.
But I think people are a little bit fatigued. And I think, like I said, it's definitely hitting a plateau.
Okay.
So my, I guess, other prediction out of that, my next one is PS4, so PlayStation Now, kind of expanding their scope into more of a competitor to Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, I have something similar to this.
Okay,
yeah.
So I actually went through and looked at PlayStation Now. So they changed their model from a streaming version to a download. You can actually download the games like Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
They've got 700 games on there. What they don't really have and where they're kind of lacking is newer titles and, of course, like the access to first-party titles.
Okay, yeah.
But there's a ton of stuff on there. If they could add, they've got PS2, PS3, PS4. I would love to see them add some classic PS1 games on there. That'd be a more of a value for me. I mean, it's only $100 for a year subscription, so that's what, $9, $8
Sure.
a month? Say $8 a month, which is a fantastic deal for 700 games.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in 2019 you're going to see maybe some first-party games get on there, maybe a little bit earlier. I don't know about day one if they would commit to that.
I wouldn't say that.
They really don't need to, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox is kind of relying on that a little bit right now. You know, another thing that I was going to say was it'd be nice if they had, maybe if they just did it with their VR games. So maybe if they had like first-party VR games.
Hey, yeah.
Let's get those on there. Anything new day one, which would also drive the sale of VR headsets.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it because, it sucks if you have to, shell out for the headset, but then it's like you have to buy every individual game too. It's like if you have already like a good, I mean, are there any VR games on the service right now?
I actually didn't see if there was.
That's a shame.
I'd be surprised. I don't think there is. I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments.
Maybe that'll be something that happens this year. You know, get some VR games on there. I think that would be good.
I think that would be a huge selling point. If I knew right now that, like, I am actually we talked about this before, but I'm actually considering buying that VR headset because I really want to play Astrobot. I really want to play Tetris in VR and a couple other things. But if I knew that, like, hey, I got this headset and I've already got 15 games that I can play on there with my PlayStation Now. I think there's some huge value to that. I mean, I go back to the PlayStation Vita years ago before I had one. They were offering as PlayStation Plus you could get 2 free games a month or whatever, and I was downloading them all because I'm like, well, if I get a Vita eventually, I'm already gonna have a library. Yeah, I knew people that were just that's what they were playing on their Vita. They were just playing the new stuff each month and the stuff that they were offered. So huge selling point for me. I'm actually going to jump right down to my next one because it's tied into that. That Sony is going to kind of double down and continue their push for PSVR. We've seen a lot of really good experiences come to PlayStation VR, whether it's experiences that are available on the HTC Vive or first-party games that are only available in the form of like Astrobot. I think Moss is available on another platform, but
what's the other one? Like Farpoint, I think is supposed to be
really
good.
Farpoint.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's an exclusive. Yeah,
now I'm sold.
Yeah, okay.
But I really do think that Sony's going to make a bigger push, and my prediction is that they're going to come up with a better solution for the Move controllers this year, where you can actually have
that'd be nice.
something better, because that's one of the biggest complaints. That it doesn't have room scale either, so they may come up with some sort of room scale system that's tied in with a better controller.
Yeah.
But you can play, like, I know you can play Super Hot VR, but you're really just the Move controllers really weren't built.
Right.
They were kind of shoehorned in kind of thing.
It's like compared to the Vive version, it's just so inferior, right?
So that's where it's lacking. But I'm the PlayStation VR, from everything I've heard, it's always been great. Like for games that you're just playing with the controller, it seems pretty...
Yeah, I feel like, for the price, it's a good VR experience.
It's the lowest barrier of entry into VR.
It's comfy, too. Like
I've heard that.
Yeah, like I've tried it before.
Okay,
And
see, I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I have an HTC Vive, so I'm really close to picking one up.
Yeah. Do it, and come over and give it a try.
Yeah,
I need to play Tetris Effect in VR.
I know.
Like, that just seems so cool.
With headphones, I can't wait. I gotta do it.
Okay, so another PlayStation prediction. I'm gonna say that Last of Us 2 is coming out this year.
Okay, so you think it'll make 2019?
I'm thinking it'll make 2019.
So do they have a date right now, or is it still up in the air?
Still up in the air. I just think, based on when kind of Naughty Dog's last games came out, and I mean, the last time they showed something, which I'm pretty sure was at E3, and it looked like, really polished, what they showed. I mean, I know that's only like one part of the game or whatever, but they've been working on this for a long time. I think it was originally announced maybe tail end of 2015. I think they'll hit 2019.
So what that comes down to for me is what other games are delayed, or what other games end up coming out. And I think that if they've got enough exclusives that they don't need it, I think that that'll be more likely to be pushed.
Yeah.
If something like Ghosts of Tsushima comes out and is a huge hit, which I think it will, that is my most anticipated game for 2019. I can't wait for that game.
It looks great, yeah.
If that comes out and does well, then they may not need a Last of Us 2, and it might fall into 2019.
That's fair, yeah.
If it's delayed, like say Ghost of Tsushima gets delayed in like the next couple months, then there might be a push towards, okay, well, we need something for holiday season,
Yeah. What seems more likely is that it will get some kind of like fall announcement, and then it'll just get like pushed to spring or something. But this is part of me like also just really wanting it this year. But I think there's a good chance it could make it.
Yeah.
So
that's like me.
We're gonna go with that.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I really want that game in 2019. I can't wait for that one.
I'm pretty sure that's a 2019 release.
I think
like
it is.
They haven't said like a firm release date, but they said, I think.
And Sucker Punch hasn't been doing a whole lot.
I mean, Second Son came out almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so I think they're probably like further along than you think. Yeah.
I can't wait for that game.
Yeah.
All right, so my next prediction again ties into it has to do with Xbox Game Pass.
Sure.
I think that we are going to see some third-party day one releases this year on Xbox Game Pass. I think Microsoft is really going to double down on Game Pass. They already are. That's something that they're really pushing. I think it's a fantastic service, and I think it's one of the best selling points to own an Xbox One.
Yeah.
There's really the idea that you're getting first party games the day that they're released with the service. And a great lineup of third party games that are on there a little bit later. I think that we're going to see a few, maybe not AAA games, but I think we're going to see some more third party stuff of substance on there day one.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I could see a situation where something like, Division 2 was a day one, if they lock down some sort of deal.
Yeah, that's kind of,
I don't know.
So, they're already kind of doing it, right? Like, I noticed this one game, Mutant Year Zero, which is a strategy game that's supposed to be really good. Was initially on PC, but it got a console release. I got a code for it to check it out, and then I noticed it was on Game Pass. So I think that they already have some maybe less higher profile games that are showing up there on day one. Like that Ashen game was on there day one.
You know what? I gave that a little bit of a try.
Was that a Microsoft game though?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so they
was it?
It seems like they are getting a few, but I think that if they strike a deal with Ubisoft, put the Division 2 on, I think we're going to see something like that this year.
Don't you think it kind of makes sense too? Because we're seeing more and more now, especially with like Ubisoft games, is that they're the game they sell you, it's not going to be the same game in a year, right? Because they're going to add all this, stuff. And, maybe getting people in, it's like, okay, here's the base game. And then, so in that situation, I could see it kind of being worthwhile.
For sure. Yeah, to give people that base game and hopefully get your hooks into them that way. So
and
they
then you're like, okay, you're
paying
for the other stuff or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I like that prediction. Okay, I think we're going to see either a new Crash or a new Spyro game this year, like a brand new one. I know the Crash Team Racing remake's coming out, but I think based on the success of both of those collections, I think it makes total sense for Activision to, you know, greenlight a
like
totally
that.
new game. You know, and I feel like this is one of those things where it's like that genre and that like kind of demographic is being a little underserviced.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, with like kind of cutesy platforming games. Like,
sure.
what has a Ukulele tried to come out?
Yeah.
It didn't do great. The only thing I can really think of in recent memory are like the Knack games.
Yeah, and it could be like your like $40 game or something
Yeah.
like that. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged AAA.
Now, which one
experience.
would you rather?
I don't know. I almost want to say like Spyro.
I do too.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with that Spyro Reignited
yeah,
collection.
Yeah. Those games hold up better than Crash, I think.
I
I have
so
more of
too.
an affinity for Crash, but like I recognize its issues. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I need more Crash than those.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want the Crash formula
excellent.
to change. I
Yeah.
think you can do more with the Spyro
Yeah.
than you can do with the Crash series.
Yeah.
Unless you take Crash out of that normal, you know, and change it up.
Change it up a lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Okay, my next prediction, I'm pretty sure I made this same prediction last year, but is a Nintendo Switch console refinement / iteration. So
Yes.
I think that they'll either go to a Pro or a like smaller light version. One thing that I guarantee will happen if they do, that there will be better battery, which everybody would love. Right now, just under
The big
3
one.
hours.
Yeah.
If we can even get that up to 4, I'd be happy. So if I were designing this, the logical thing that I would say would be a Nintendo Switch with fixed JoyCons, so JoyCons that are not removable. You could either bring the size down a bit or keep the size the same but have a bigger screen. So instead of the bezel, you would have a full screen, like edge to edge, and then a bigger battery. Sold on its own without the dock.
Yeah.
But still has the functionality, is still able to fit in that dock. I think that's something that they could still do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want, you could buy the dock separate, but they could get the price point down quite a bit by not including the dock and you know, removing the detachable Joy-Cons. Which, to be honest with you, when I play with my Nintendo
we're
Switch,
looking at a Switch right now.
yeah,
It's like it's way over here out of shot. Yeah.
when I play with my Nintendo Switch in tabletop mode or in
Yeah.
dock mode, I still have my Joy-Cons on it. I just have another set of Joy-Cons I use. So I get you know what I mean? Like, if I have it on tabletop, I usually still have my Joy-Cons on. So I don't see there being any issue with, like, you know, not having the removable Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I get it.
It just means that you'd have to, if you want an extra set, you'd have to buy them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this was sort of on my list as well. I said, like, I think they're going to do something like maybe like a 2-tiered Switch model where there'll be the lower priced like handheld only device. And then we'll get a revamp of the current model, which will be kind of positioned as like the Pro version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, like, that's what I would do. What I think that they would do is leave the current SKU and go, and I think that they would like drop the price a bit, but then release a Pro model that has possibly even a little bit more power to it, so they can better run third-party games.
Okay.
I think that that's probably the most likely solution.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just love I just want better battery and a bigger screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd have to get those things, or I don't think I would upgrade.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I would.
Yeah, I like the size. I like the form
anyway,
factor right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a great
I
design.
don't have a lot of complaints
Yeah.
at the moment, but yeah, battery life and screen size would be great.
Some more internal storage would be nice.
Yeah, okay. Building on that a bit, like if they do kind of release a handheld only Switch or one that's kind of meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Do you see them killing the 3DS this year?
I hope so. The 3DS should have been gone 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
why did I know
still
that
going,
that
eh?
3DS sales have really dropped off. So yeah, if they can get a cheaper device that could replace the 3DS's sales, so you know, even if they didn't increase the screen size, just kind of shrunk it down a bit, did not have the removable Joy-Cons, and if they could get that down to $200,
Yeah.
you know, it's replacing that 3DS SKU.
Yeah. At this point, I still just don't understand why they're doing any exclusive 3DS games.
I don't either.
You know,
I didn't understand
because
it
there
2
are
years
some
ago.
like lately,
I
right?
don't
Like, are they
understand it
doing
now.
you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a remake of the first Luigi's Mansion, but it's only on 3DS.
Yes, that came out.
Oh, that already came out. Like,
Right? I'm pretty sure that came out.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then they're coming out with a new one for the Switch, I believe, right?
a new Luigi. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 3.
But yeah, like why not put that on Switch?
I don't
understand. Like I feel like anything you're releasing on 3DS at this point should also be on Switch. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Nintendo's gonna keep selling them until I don't think they're gonna kill it this year. I think the 3DS is still hanging in there. They're just for some reason still supporting it.
So the Nintendo Switch sales have plateaued as well, right? They're not seeing that growth. So I think that that's why I think in 2019 we're going to see some sort of console iteration to get a spike in those sales.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of shakeup.
I am going to stick with the Nintendo Switch because I have one or two more things here. I think in 2019 we're going to get some classic Dreamcast games on the Nintendo Switch.
Ooh.
Now, I thought about what does that mean? So I think we'll get the Sega games.
Yeah.
And hopefully the Capcom games. You know, I mentioned this...
Power Stone 2!
Yeah, so I mentioned this in my hopes for, you know, getting a Dreamcast Classic that really, you only need like 2 or 3 companies. You need Sega on board, you need Capcom, and then maybe like Namco. And you've got a good chunk of the Dreamcast stuff, right? What a
great thing that would be. Yeah, a classic.
Think about the 4-player, like you said, Power Stone 2 with the JoyCons, like 4-player. Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, put them around $15. I'd be in. Okay. On almost everything.
Okay. Oh, did you have another Nintendo one or Switch that you kind of wanted to go to?
I was just going to mention that, you know, kind of sticking with Nintendo, that I think that we are going to get a N64 Classic in 2019.
You think they're going to do it?
I do.
I don't know.
I think they had so much success with the first 2, with dwindling sales on the 3DS. I think it makes sense for them to have another product out there that will sell like gangbusters.
Yeah.
I know that they mentioned they don't have any current plans, but I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, the problem is just there's going to be so many games left off because of stupid
the problem is they can only come up with 10 to 12 games.
Okay, okay, but I mean, you know what I mean though, is that like like a lot of the no, I guess most of the rare games they could they get on there? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like Diddy Kong Racing, they probably could.
Okay, yeah.
Because they had that 3DS or DS remake like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and was that on the Rare Replay?
No, that one wasn't.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I guess everything they have on Rare Replay wouldn't. So
one of my predictions long ago when we thought that it was coming sooner was that that there would be more like 15 games on it.
Yeah.
Like,
also, I don't know. Is this still going?
Oh, we probably went over an hour.
Right. Okay.
The Instagram live stream ended.
Yeah.
People are wondering what the heck we were doing on there, anyways. I just kind of started it. So.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It was hard to monitor the comments at the same time. Anyway, yeah. Okay. So. Another prediction. This is a bit bold, but I think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out this year.
Okay. And
the reason for that is that I think Bethesda really need to win after Fallout 76, that debacle.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that they could be further along than we think they are. I mean, I know they showed that like just little tease back at E3, but.
Like when did Skyrim initially come out?
2011.
11, okay.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of time. I mean, they've been porting it to, I don't know if they handled the ports, but
sure,
they've been busy porting that to everything under the sun.
Right? Yeah. But also, I mean, we saw, remember when Fallout 4 came out, they announced it within the same year, right? Like it was like, you know, oh yeah, here it is, and it's coming out in 5 months. It's
Good point.
I mean, I know they've already announced this, but I think, yeah, it's Elder Scrolls. I think it's about time.
I think I might agree with that we're going to get that in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it all comes down to how much resources they've been putting into Fallout 76 and how much time which it doesn't seem like they put much in.
Yeah, I know. The more I say it now, maybe
like
not, but
thinking.
I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to that.
So I had one last quick prediction. I think I actually took it from an analyst. I heard it somewhere.
Okay.
A new BioShock game in 2019.
Okay.
So it's been a few years. You know, as I started thinking about it, I was like, I would love a prequel. Like we saw where the underwater utopia ended up, you know, with the first game.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how that came about in the first place.
Go back. Yeah,
like,
that would be cool.
Why did this happen? You know, or like the building of, you know, Andrew Ryan, I guess, building this underwater utopia and why and how and.
I'd kind of like it to go to like something totally different again,
like
you know,
like in the sky. That was totally different.
Yeah.
But what else could they do now?
I don't really know.
Tunnel.
In space.
There you go.
Yeah.
But then they'd have to call it System Shock.
Oh, true.
Full circle.
Wait, wow. Mind blown.
Like, there we go, right? Like, let's get a new System Shock.
Oh, shit.
And
I think there is one coming out.
Is there?
I think,
okay.
yeah.
And I think it's probably by, at this point, different people.
Yeah. Okay, so I had like a few more. Maybe I'll just run through them quick.
Okay.
I should have mentioned this back when we were talking about Battle Royale, but I think that Halo Infinite is going to have a Battle Royale mode. I think it just makes sense for Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a smart thing for them
Any
to
first-person shooter, I think...
Yeah.
You know, I'd much rather play Battle Royale mode than traditional.
So I think it would be... Yeah, I think it would make sense. I don't think we're going to see official announcements of the next PlayStation or Xbox this year.
Okay. I disagree. I think we're going to hear... Oh, well... Official announcements?
But I mean, by that I mean we're not going to see the unveilings. Like, it's not going to be like, here's the PlayStation 5 or whatever. We're gonna hear more rumblings about it, but
I think I tend to agree.
Okay.
I think we're definitely gonna hear stuff about it, but you're right. I don't think it's gonna be like E3. Here's the system. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, and I'm basing that off of like, when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were announced. They were announced within the same year that they were coming out. Everyone's pegging these systems to be probably 2020, like late 2020.
Yeah.
So I think early next year, maybe this time next year, we might see something.
I also think that window is going to shorten. I think you're going to hear about a console.
Yeah.
And it's going to be out like 6 months later because I just think the technology, I think it makes sense for them to wait and put the best tech in they can instead of like announcing a year ahead. It's going to have this chip. A year later, that chip is like ancient history.
Remember the Switch lead up? Like it was only announced like a few months before it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me this day and age.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. You keep hearing rumblings about the $100 Xbox One without the disc drive.
Yeah.
That's another thing I think most likely will happen in 2019.
Yeah.
Probably on the power level of Xbox One S, or maybe even release that on the same level as the original Xbox, just without the drive.
Yeah.
Just for people who have 1080p TVs and want to get into games on the Xbox, and like with that Xbox Games Pass, that's a hell of a compelling deal, right?
Yeah.
Like $100 US or whatever, $129, even $150 US. With a couple months of Game Pass thrown in, that's a great deal.
Instant game library.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Other than that, I put down that I think we're going to hear announcements for a new Splinter Cell this year.
Yep.
And
I've been saying that for the last 4 years, though.
Prince of Persia!
Oh, God, that'd be nice.
I know. That's more of the, like, probably not going to happen.
The problem is what they're going to do with that is they're going to make it, like, all... It'll be... I want the Xbox, like, Sands of Time, like, cartoony.
That's what everyone kind of wants.
I kind of want that, but I think that they would go more like, hey, let's make our own Tomb Raider type game.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I have a hard time. Like, Prince of Persia needs to come back. Like, it can't. I don't think it's a dead franchise. I think it's gonna come back at some point. But I have a hard time figuring out what it looks like in 2019.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll throw out my other prediction that I throw out every year. New Crimson Skies. I would love.
Yes,
I would love a new Crimson Skies. That's my prediction at every E3. This is the year they're going to announce a new Crimson Skies.
Oh man.
Or even an HD remake on the Switch. I'd be happy.
Oh, do you think Metroid Prime 4 comes out this year?
I don't know enough about it. As far as I know, they've just announced it, right? Have we seen a trailer or anything? No. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
But I mean, it was announced almost 2 years ago now, so I feel like...
I think Animal Crossing will be out in 2019.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be their big game.
I think we could see a new Zelda game too, but a little different, like more of a maybe a 2D or like like
great?
Something smaller scale.
Wouldn't that be great if they built an awesome 2D Zelda?
Yeah.
I mean, they did it with Mario. They went. I mean, well, they did it on the 3DS. Like,
oh, the Link Between Worlds. Yeah,
those were great.
That was a great one.
Can we not get those on the Switch?
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Hey, yeah.
Anything
so something Zelda related, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that about covers it for predictions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like 2018 wasn't quite as good as 2017.
Ooh.
It's close.
Like, you meaning like game releases?
Well, the Nintendo Switch had such a massive year in 2017, and I think that they took a bit of a step back there. I think that Sony took a big
Sony had a better year for
forward.
Sure. Yeah.
Microsoft kind of the same. I mean,
Hey, Horizon 4 was fun at least.
And Game Pass kind of fueled them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2019. I really feel like we said it in 2017 that I thought that it was one of the best video game years of all time.
You know, I mean, 2018 is up there for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. I might lean a little more to 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are our quick predictions for 2019.
Yeah. So we'll, you know,
Circle back.
crack them out of the vault in a year and see how we did.
And we'll recycle a few of the same ones, like
of course,
I do every
Crimson
year.
Skies next year, 2020. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. As always, you can find the Screen Therapy Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, the Google Play Store, and Spotify. Head over, give us a download. Even if you're watching this on YouTube, do us a big favor and head over and download the audio version. Feel free to leave us reviews, tell your friends, share, all that sort of stuff. Thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening to the podcast so far. We've had some excellent feedback. And like I said, we're on a pretty nice trajectory up, so hopefully we can continue that in the next couple episodes. We are dedicated right now to the bi-weekly episodes, but maybe in the next coming months, if the podcast goes well, we'll move to a weekly schedule.
Okay. Yeah, that's been your Screen Therapy for this week.
Thanks, guys.